Look, oh, this is quite appalling. This is the worst start for a Grand Prix.
The 1998 Belgian Grand Prix is remembered in Formula One history as a wild and challenging event. Just moments into the race, Eddie Irvine's chilling account captures a heart-stopping moment. No brakes, no steering, just hurtling down the track with wheels hitting it. In 15 seconds, Spa-Francorchamps witnessed a symphony of destruction, leaving 13 machines in ruins. Join us as we unravel the riveting tale of the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix, a collision of speed and chaos that transcended the racetrack's limits. The Grand Prix at Spa was anything but routine from the start, featuring ideal, cool, and dry conditions on Saturday. The championship rivalry between Mika Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher intensified, leading to a gripping qualifying duel between Häkkinen and McLaren teammate Coulthard. The two drivers pushed each other to the limit, with Häkkinen expressing disbelief at his performance. Coulthard graciously admitted his error, securing second place in an impressive McLaren display. Damon Hill, often criticized as the sad old man of Formula One, proved his mettle by out-qualifying Eddie Irvine and positioning himself third. The stage was set for an exhilarating race at Spa, promising a thrilling showdown among the top contenders. Controversy enveloped Michael Schumacher as he set his fastest time under a waved yellow flag, pushing Damon Hill to fourth place in qualifying. With one more run for each, Damon aimed to reclaim third, while Michael had to match or surpass the disputed time. The tension escalated as both drivers, alongside the McLarens, hit the track for their final runs. Hill signaled to pass Schumacher during the outlap in a nail-biting battle, creating an intense on-track rivalry. Schumacher failed to improve his time, ultimately losing it due to the yellow flag incident. Despite questions about the controversy, Schumacher remained tight-lipped, expressing dissatisfaction with McLaren's pace and his fifth-place standing. On the contrary, Hill reveled in his triumph, describing his performance as absolutely brilliant and abandoning his usual modesty. Meanwhile, Jacques Villeneuve showcased resilience, securing a commendable sixth place after a near-disastrous incident at Eau Rouge the day before. Mika Salo faced a major setback, crashing like Villeneuve, with his arrows rendered irreparable for the race. The grid promised a mix of rivalry, triumph, and unforeseen challenges as the stage was set for the Grand Prix. The weather forecast predicted warmth and dry conditions, but surprise, surprise, it started raining early on Saturday and stopped well after everyone had left. What was supposed to be a straightforward day turned into quite an eventful one. Schumacher, known as the Rainmeister, showed his skills by zipping around Spa the fastest during the warm-up. The lineup behind him included Irvine, Häkkinen, Fisichella, Ralf Schumacher, and Hill. The tricky part? The weather wasn't playing fair. Just as the cars lined up for the start, only a few, like Villeneuve, Alesi, and the crucial Michael Schumacher, chose intermediate wet tires. The rest, including Häkkinen, Coulthard, Hill, and Irvine, opted for full wet tires, unwilling to take any chances. As the race kicked off, Häkkinen got off to a good start, but Coulthard had some trouble. Villeneuve, though, made the best start and quickly challenged Häkkinen for the lead. Meanwhile, Hill had too many wheel spin and slipped back to seventh place from third. Michael Schumacher managed a decent start, keeping up with Villeneuve and Häkkinen. But just as the leaders left La Source, chaos erupted behind them. The spray from the rain made it nearly impossible to see what triggered the chaos, but many believed that Irvine touched Coulthard after the race. This sent the McLaren sharply to the right, crashing into a concrete barrier. Wheels and carbon fiber were flying everywhere. In just 15 seconds, a total of 13 out of the 22 cars that started the race were wrecked, resulting in significant damage worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The aftermath left everyone wondering, what triggered this intense series of events? Fortunately, as the drivers got out of their cars, it became clear that no one was seriously hurt. Barrichello couldn't restart due to an injured arm, and other drivers like Rosset, Panis, and Salo couldn't restart either because only one spare car was available for their teammate. Tough luck for them. Clear the wreckage took almost an hour, and the spare cars were hurriedly prepared. Irvine got into Schumacher's spare car, and Coulthard got into the spare McLaren. Luckily, Jordan was the only team that escaped the crash without damage. Ralf Schumacher skillfully parked his car to the side while chaos unfolded in front of him. Ralf later shared, "I just moved my car to the left, parked it, and waited, just in time to see an Arrows car narrowly miss me. Then, when everything settled, I engaged a gear and went through." It's quite a move for someone who used to be known for reckless starts. For Ralph's teammate Damon Hill, luck seemed to be smiling. After a lousy first start, he was getting a second chance. The rain had eased up a bit, and now all the top drivers, including Hill, had switched to intermediate rain tires. This time, Hill nailed it and smoothly passed the two McLarens as they rounded the La Source hairpin on the second try. While Hill enjoyed the clear road ahead, Häkkinen faced a lightning nightmare. His McLaren Mercedes spun 180 degrees as he exited La Source. He later explained that he was helped around by a contact with Michael Schumacher's Ferrari. Stranded and facing the wrong way, he had a front row seat for his unfortunate end. Johnny Herbert's Sauber slammed into him despite trying to avoid the collision. Both were out on the spot, and the safety car was immediately brought in. At least the race wouldn't be stopped for a second time. McLaren had a tough time at the race. Coulthard faced trouble on the first lap, going off track and getting stuck in the gravel. Another car, driven by Alexander Wurz, couldn't avoid him. Both cars ended up in the rock, but Coulthard managed to get back on the track, though at the back of the pack. The top 10 racers at that point were Hill, Michael Schumacher, Irvine, Jean Alesi, Villeneuve, Frentzen, Ralf Schumacher, Fisichella, Diniz, and Verstappen. After clearing the stranded cars, the race resumed. Driving for Jordan, Hill initially looked good, with a slight lead over Schumacher's Ferrari. However, as the rain increased, Hill's car struggled. Schumacher eventually overtook Hill on lap 7. Despite worsening conditions, Schumacher set the fastest lap on lap 9. By lap 8, the only remaining Stewart car, driven by Jos Verstappen, retired due to engine trouble. On lap 9, Irvine damaged his front wing and a barge board, but a pit stop fixed the issues, and he switched to full wet tires. On lap 11, Ralf Schumacher pitted from 6th place to change to full wet tires, a strategic move that would pay off later. On lap 16, most leading racers on intermediate tires pitted for full wet tires, except Villeneuve. He paid the price a lap later, sliding off the track just before his planned pit stop. During Hill's pit stop, some challenges were adjusting the front wing settings. But despite this, Hill and Schumacher had built a significant lead over the other racers by then. On lap 17, Hill was stuck between the two Schumacher brothers. He was 22 seconds behind Michael, the leader, and 22 seconds ahead of Ralf, who was in 3rd place after the pit stops. Alesi, Frentzen, Irvine, Diniz, and Fisichella followed behind. Some drivers, like Trulli and Diniz, were on a one-stop strategy and pitted on lap 21. For a few laps, not much happened, but Coulthard was requesting the safety car to come back out. By lap 24, Ralf Schumacher reduced Hill's lead to just 10 seconds, while Michael was nearly 30 seconds ahead of Hill. Michael had a close call with Diniz on the previous lap. Ahead of him, Coulthard was waiting to be lapped. Schumacher wanted Coulthard to move aside, and Ferrari's team boss, Jean Todt, asked McLaren to let Schumacher pass. Coulthard knew the situation but couldn't see well due to the spray. Schumacher, frustrated by the situation, gestured at Coulthard. The track conditions were challenging, and passing needed careful consideration. Coulthard later explained that he couldn't see behind him. Could Schumacher see the red light on the back of Coulthard's McLaren in the bad visibility? Unexpectedly, Schumacher's Ferrari hit the rear of Coulthard's McLaren, tearing off the right front wheel and ending Schumacher's race. Both cars continued with the damaged Ferrari surprisingly stable. They entered the pit lane in a line, Schumacher to retire and Coulthard for repairs in a futile attempt to earn an extra point. Schumacher, furious, threw his steering wheel and quickly left his car. He headed straight for the front of the garage, pushing aside anyone trying to stop him. Schumacher marched into the McLaren garage and confronted Coulthard, still in his helmet, and even Jean Todt attempted to intervene. Suddenly, Schumacher turned and left, passing the Jordan pit crew, who realized their cars were now in the lead. Later, Coulthard explained his perspective, mentioning that he had been informed about Michael behind him and was trying to let him pass safely. He expressed regret for the incident, but found Schumacher's behavior in the garage unacceptable, especially the accusation of trying to harm him. Coulthard emphasized Schumacher's need to seek help controlling his anger after such events. So, with 19 laps to go, Damon Hill was leading the race again, but he was facing a lot of pressure from his teammate, Ralph. The team boss, Eddie Jordan, wanted to avoid any problems between the two drivers, so he told Ralph to follow Damon and not try to overtake. However, since Ralph was suing the team to leave and join Williams the next year, there was a feeling that he might ignore the team's orders and go for the win. Hill was struggling, and on lap 28, he made a mistake by overshooting the bus stop chicane and running across the grass. Despite this, he kept his lead after his final pit stop just as the safety car came out again due to a bad incident between Fisichella's Benetton and Nakano's Minardi. In a similar situation to the Schumacher-Coulthard incident, Nakano was not seen by Fisichella, this time at the bus stop chicane. Fisichella crashed into the back of Nakano's Minardi, causing significant damage to the left side of the Benetton. Surprisingly, Nakano could continue after repairs. Irvine also had to retire because his Ferrari spun off the track into the gravel after hitting a curb. It was a complete disaster for Ferrari. With about 12 laps left and the safety car gone, Hill was leading, with Ralf Schumacher following him and Jean Alesi's Sauber in third. It seemed Ralf was going to follow the team's orders, but he was feeling pressure from Alesi. Alesi later admitted that he wasn't willing to take big risks to pass Ralph. Frentzen and Denise couldn't keep up with the top three, and truly finished 6th, earning a point for Prost, even though he was 2 laps behind the leaders. The race ended on lap 44, with Damon Hill celebrating the historic win for Jordan. Their first Grand Prix victory after 127 races and 7 years. And they even got a 1-2 finish. On the podium, Ralf Schumacher seemed less than thrilled, likely weighed down by various concerns, including his brother's situation, his desire to leave the winning team, and the realization that the victory was within reach. In an interview, he diplomatically expressed happiness for the team and himself, acknowledging the missed opportunity to win. Reflecting on the victory, Damon Hill praised the team's joy and Eddie Jordan's role in the success. Jordan, in turn, highlighted the incredible turnaround from being perceived as underdogs a few races ago to achieving a 1-2 finish. The 1998 Belgian Grand Prix was particularly significant for Ferrari's 600th Grand Prix and McLaren's 30th anniversary, making it unforgettable for the leading teams and drivers in the World Championship. If you enjoyed reliving the thrilling moments of the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix, hit the like button and subscribe for more captivating stories from the world of Formula One. Don't miss out on the excitement. Stay tuned for more legendary races and dramatic moments.